The Nissan GTR has always been more than just a sports car. It became a symbol of Japanese engineering, brutal acceleration, and technology that could embarrass cars costing several times more. But after the R35 generation finally reached the end of its incredible run, one question has been impossible to ignore. What comes next? Now imagine the legendary GTR returning for 2027 with a completely new philosophy. A more advanced powertrain, sharper aerodynamics, smarter electronics, and a design that respects the past while pushing Nissan deep into the future. If this next-generation GTR arrives as expected, it could become one of the most exciting performance cars of the decade. And that is exactly why the 2027 Nissan GTR deserves your attention. The previous GTR became famous because it challenged the supercar establishment without following the traditional rules. Its twin-turbo V6, sophisticated all-wheel drive system, and lightning-fast dual-clutch transmission transformed the car into a technological weapon. But technology moves quickly, and the next GTR needs to move even faster. For 2027, the biggest mystery is the powertrain. Nissan has explored electrification across its performance car strategy, and the next GTR is widely expected to use some form of electrified technology rather than simply repeating the old R35 formula. That could mean a hybrid-assisted powertrain designed to combine instant electric response with the character and high-speed performance of a combustion engine. Imagine stepping on the accelerator and getting immediate electric torque before the engine fully unleashes its power. That combination could dramatically improve launches, corner exits, and acceleration throughout the rev range. The result could be a GTR that feels completely different from the R35 while keeping the explosive personality that made the name famous. Power numbers are still speculative, but the performance target is obvious. Nissan cannot simply build another fast sports car. The next GTR has to compete with some of the most advanced performance machines in the world. That means acceleration could be spectacular. A sophisticated electrified powertrain could potentially push the GTR towards supercar-level acceleration while making the response even sharper. Instead of waiting for turbochargers to build boost, electric assistance could fill the gaps and create a much more immediate power delivery. And then there is the all-wheel drive system. This has always been one of the GTR's greatest weapons. Rather than relying only on massive horsepower, Nissan engineered the GTR to put its power onto the road with remarkable confidence. The next generation could take that concept even further with electronically controlled torque distribution, predictive software, and faster responses from the drivetrain. In simple terms, the car could constantly analyze what the driver is doing, what the tires are doing, and what the road is demanding. That means more traction when accelerating, more stability during high-speed cornering, and potentially a much more engaging driving experience. But the biggest transformation may happen before you even start the engine. Look at the design language Nissan has been developing around its future performance concepts. The next GTR is expected to retain recognizable elements of the Skyline GTR heritage while moving toward a much more futuristic shape. The signature identity could remain: a low roof, muscular stance, short overhangs, wide bodywork, and an aggressive front end. But expect the details to become dramatically more advanced. The headlights could become slimmer and more technical. The grille area could be reshaped for better aerodynamic efficiency. Air channels could be integrated into the bodywork instead of appearing as separate openings. And the rear could feature a modern interpretation of the iconic circular taillights that have become synonymous with the GTR name. This is important because the GTR has never been about looking ordinary. It needs presence. Park it next to a normal sports car, and you should immediately know which one is the GTR. Aerodynamics will also become increasingly important. At extreme speeds, horsepower is only part of the equation. The body has to control airflow, reduce unwanted lift, improve stability, and manage cooling. The next GTR could therefore feature active aerodynamic elements that automatically adjust depending on speed and driving conditions. At lower speeds, the system could prioritize efficiency and airflow management. At high speeds, it could generate additional stability. During aggressive cornering, the aerodynamic balance could change again. That would make the GTR not only faster, but smarter. And intelligence could be one of the biggest themes of this new generation. Modern performance cars are becoming rolling computers, and Nissan has a huge opportunity to turn the GTR into one of the most sophisticated examples. Advanced sensors could monitor traction, braking, steering inputs, battery temperature, motor output, and vehicle dynamics in real time. The driver would still control the car, but the technology could work constantly in the background. Inside the cabin, the transformation could be just as significant. The R35 interior eventually showed its age, especially compared with newer luxury performance cars. A 2027 GTR would need a dramatically more modern environment. Expect a driver-focused cockpit with a large digital instrument display, a high-resolution central screen, premium materials, and a steering wheel designed around performance driving. But Nissan should be careful. The GTR does not need to become a luxury lounge. Its interior should feel technical, purposeful, and exciting. Imagine carbon fiber-inspired trim, supportive performance seats, metallic controls, illuminated displays, and a cockpit where the most important information is always directly in front of the driver. And because this is a GTR, technology should serve performance rather than distract from it. One of the most interesting questions is weight. Electrification can add significant mass, and weight has always been a major concern for sports cars. Nissan therefore faces a difficult engineering challenge. How do you add electric motors and battery technology without turning the GTR into a heavy grand tourer? Advanced lightweight materials could be part of the answer. Carbon fiber components, aluminum structures, optimized suspension systems, and smarter packaging could help control weight. The objective would be simple. Add electrification where it improves performance while removing weight everywhere possible. If Nissan gets that balance right, the next GTR could deliver something genuinely special. And then comes the sound. This is where enthusiasts will be watching closely. The GTR name has always been connected with the distinctive sound and character of its turbocharged engine. Electrification may improve acceleration, but enthusiasts will still want an emotional experience. Nissan therefore has to preserve the mechanical personality that makes the GTR feel alive. The perfect next-generation GTR would combine the instant response of electric assistance with the sound, sensation, and high-speed character of a performance combustion engine. That combination could create a completely new identity. Not purely electric, not traditionally gasoline-powered. Something in between. Something uniquely GTR. Of course, there is another major factor: pricing. The GTR became legendary partly because it delivered extraordinary performance without requiring an exotic supercar budget. If the new model uses advanced hybrid technology, sophisticated electronics, active aerodynamics, and lightweight materials, production costs could rise significantly. That creates a challenge for Nissan. The company needs to make the next GTR technologically advanced enough to compete with modern supercars, but affordable enough to preserve the GTR's reputation as the performance bargain of its class. If Nissan succeeds, the car could attract an enormous audience. Existing GTR owners would see it as the next chapter. JDM enthusiasts would see the return of an icon. And a new generation of drivers could discover why the GTR became famous in the first place. But perhaps the most exciting thing about the 2027 GTR is not any individual number. It is the possibility of evolution. The R35 proved that Nissan could use technology to challenge much more expensive performance cars. The next GTR could take that philosophy into an entirely new era. Imagine a machine that launches with electric-assisted instant torque, sends power through an advanced all-wheel drive system, changes its aerodynamic profile at speed, adjusts its chassis electronically, and delivers supercar acceleration while remaining unmistakably Nissan. That is the opportunity. The GTR does not need to copy Ferrari, Porsche, Lamborghini, or anyone else. It needs to be the GTR. Aggressive, intelligent, technologically extreme, and completely Japanese in character. The 2027 Nissan GTR, if it arrives with this kind of next-generation philosophy, could become one of the most important performance car comebacks of the decade. It could prove that electrification does not necessarily mean losing emotion. It could show that technology can make a legendary sports car even more capable without destroying its identity. And most importantly, it could give an entire generation of enthusiasts a new reason to say those three famous letters: GTR. So, would you choose the next generation GTR over a European supercar? Would you want a hybrid GTR, a fully electric GTR, or a high-performance combustion electric combination? Let me know your choice in the comments. And if you want to see more future cars, next-generation supercars, and the latest automotive concepts brought to life, make sure you subscribe to Future Drive 2030. Because the future of performance is changing fast, and the GTR may be ready to lead the charge.